Students, today we will learn about a new chapter, adolescence and puberty. So in first CRL we will learn about adolescence and puberty, and we will revise whatever we have learned in last 5 days. Students, here is a table which tells you the difference between adolescence and puberty. So what is adolescence? Adolescence is the period of life between childhood and adulthood, right? And what is puberty? Puberty is the term used to describe the physical changes occurring during adolescence. Once again, I repeat, adolescence is the period of life between childhood and adulthood. Okay? In adulthood, adolescence begins at around 11 years and lasts up to 19 years. And about puberty, in girls, puberty occurs between 10 to 14 years of age, and in boys it occurs between 11 to 15 years of age. In this CRL, we will learn about the increase in height during adolescence. An increase in height is the most conspicuous or visible change during adolescence in both boys and girls. An increase in height occurs due to the elongation of the bones of the arms and legs, which become larger than the rest of the body. An increase in height occurs due to the elongation of the bones of arms and legs, which become longer than the rest of the body. But did you know that initially the height of girls increases much faster than that of the boys? Okay, so let us look at some data supporting this statement. Here in this table you can see the age in year and percentage of full height of boys and girls. So at the age of 8 years, boys height increases up to 72%. In girls it increases up to 77%. At age of 9, in boys it increases up to 75%, and in girls it increases up to 81%. At the age of 10, boys increase by 78%, girls increase by 84%. At the age of 12, boys increase up to 84%, while girls increase up to 91%. At 13 years, boys grow in height up to 88% and girls up to 95%. At 14 years of age, boys increase up to 92%, girls up to 98%. At 15 years, boys height increases up to 95%, in girls it increases up to 99%. At the age of 16 years, boys height goes up to 98%, girls up to 99%. At 17 years, boys up to 99%, girls reach up to 100%. At the age of 18, height stops growing. There is a calculation. Question is, calculate if a 9-year-old boy is 120 centimeter tall, what will be his height at the end of his growth period? So we will write height at 9 years is equal to 120 centimeter. From the data we know that at the age of 9 years a boy has attained 75% of full height. Now we can solve the given question using the unitary method. If 75% height means 120 centimeter, then 100% of the height will mean 120 upon 75 into 100 is equal to 160 centimeter. So if a 9-year-old boy is 120 centimeter tall, his height will be 160 centimeter at the end of his growth period. There is a question, plot a graph, mark the range from 65 to 100 in the y-axis, label this axis as percentage of full height. Mark the points for the height of boys as per the age. Refer to the data for this example and we get the graph like this for boys. Students, in this CRL we will learn about the primary and secondary sexual characters. So students, primary sexual characters are present at the birth and they include reproductive organs, male and female both. And the secondary sexual characters are those characters which develop during puberty. And secondary sexual characters include physical changes occurring in the body. Students, in this CRL we will learn about the sex determination.
Hello students, all of us have seen babies in our families or in our neighborhood. When a baby is born, it is identified as a boy or a girl. But how is the sex of the baby determined? Let's find out. The human body is composed of cells. Each cell contains the nucleus which carries chromosomes. Chromosomes are thread-like structures that carry genes. Genes are responsible for the characteristics we possess, which include eye color, hair color, and height. Do you know how many chromosomes are present in each human cell? Yes, each human cell consists of 46 chromosomes. They are arranged into 23 pairs. The first 22 pairs are called autosomes. Autosomes are the same in both males and females. The 23rd pair represents the sex chromosomes. This pair determines whether a fertilized egg will develop into a baby girl or a baby boy. The sex chromosomes are named X and Y. Males have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, whereas females have two X chromosomes. Now, we know that the sex chromosomes are responsible for determining the sex of a baby. So let's understand the process of sex determination. We know that humans reproduce through sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction starts with the production of gametes. The male gamete is the sperm, whereas the female gamete is the ovum. Each sperm contains 22 autosomes and either one X chromosome or one Y chromosome. Each ovum contains 22 autosomes and 1 X chromosome. During the process of sexual reproduction, the sperm fertilizes the ovum to form a zygote. The sperm that fertilizes the egg can carry either an X chromosome or a Y chromosome. But what will happen when a sperm carrying an X chromosome fertilizes an ovum? The resulting zygote will be a female. Let's see how. When a sperm carrying an X chromosome fuses with the ovum, the zygote contains 22 pairs of autosomes and a pair of X chromosomes, XX, resulting in a female. Now, can you guess what will happen when a sperm containing a Y chromosome fertilizes an ovum? It will result in a male. Let's see how. When a sperm carrying a Y chromosome fuses with the ovum, the zygote contains 22 pairs of autosomes and the sex chromosomes XY, resulting in a male. So now we know how the sex chromosomes present in the sperm help in determining whether the baby will be a girl or a boy. Bye bye. Happy learning. Endocrine glands. Hello students. All of us have experienced growth and changes in our body. All human beings go through physical transitions, from being babies to toddlers, toddlers to young children to adolescents, adolescents to adults, and so on. There are many changes which occur in each phase. So let's first talk about the adolescence phase. In this phase, humans go through many physical changes, such as an increase in height, changes in the shape of the body, and an increase in the activity of the sweat and sebaceous glands. Sweat glands are one of the many glands present in our body. A gland is an organ that produces and secretes substances to perform specific functions in the body. So there are two types of glands: exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Let's understand each of these in detail. Exocrine glands have ducts. They produce and release substances through these ducts. Ducts release substances into the external and internal parts of the body. For example, when we eat, the salivary glands release saliva into the salivary ducts. These ducts allow the passage of saliva from the salivary glands to the oral cavity or mouth, where it helps us in digesting food. Some other examples of exocrine glands are sebaceous glands, which produce oil, and sweat glands, which release sweat in our body. Now let's learn about the endocrine glands. These glands are ductless or tubeless. This is because they secrete chemicals known as hormones directly into the bloodstream. The changes that adolescents go through during puberty are caused by these hormones. Let's find out more about endocrine glands. There are 10 endocrine glands in our body. Some examples of endocrine glands are the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, and a pair of testes in males and a pair of ovaries in females. Each of these glands secretes a different hormone. When they are released into the blood, they reach a specific part in the body called a target site. They attach themselves to the target site and perform a specific function. Now, how do you think a hormone recognizes its target site? A hormone recognizes its target site with the help of specific structures known as receptors. They are present on the surface of the target site. Once a hormone finds its receptor, it fits into the receptor perfectly, similar to how a key fits into a lock. For example, the growth hormone released by the pituitary gland travels through the blood to different parts of the body. Once it finds its target site, it binds to the receptor, causing changes such as elongation of bones. This is how the height of an individual increases. The specificity of hormones for the receptors on the target site is truly amazing. The interaction between a hormone and its receptor causes many effects on our bodies throughout life. Thank you. Happy learning.